Hello lovely people, I'm K3N and welcome to my channel. This is the next video in the series called Slowstitches, where I share with you some of the stitching that I use in my slow stitch projects. And today I want to talk about couching. Now couching is basically when you stitch something down onto the surface of the cloth using stitches that go over that something rather than through it. And I will show you how to do it in a little minute, but I thought first of all I'll show you some examples. It seems, when I was looking for examples, that about the only thing I really couch are circles. So everything here has got a circle on it. So this was a little book wrap for a sketchbook. And these circles here are bits of wool. I think they're leftover, just knitting wool, just the little ends that you trim off. Don't ever throw anything away. And I've laid it on the surface of the cloth, and then I've stitched over it just to hold it in place. There you can see there's a little part circle, and down here is another one. So that's that one. This is the stitch journal that I've just finished, and I've uploaded. It's already got cat hair on. I've uploaded part 1 and part 2 will probably be uploaded by the time this one comes on. And on the cover of this, I've also stitched some couch circles. That was again, I think that was cotton embroidery thread, you know, the thick stuff, like the tapestry cotton. And that's all the couching on there. This is a little piece that's been hanging around for a long time, which I've started but not finished. And now I see it, I think, must do something with that. This is woven strips of cloth, which will be one of the weeks next year in the 52 weeks, but I digress. Around the edge of the dark circle, what I've done is I've twisted 2 strands of thicker thread together. I think it was silk thread. I think one was silk and one was wool. So I've twisted them together like the cloth twining, but with threads instead. And then I've couched them down, with quite big stitches just going across. So that's that one. And this is a much bigger piece. This is actually I can't get it all in. This is actually the centerpiece of a wall hanging that I've been working on for some time. Which is very monochrome, black and white. And it's got a kind of hearty thing going on down there. But on it there are 3 black circles couched on. And before I put the black circles on, it was quite plain, I don't know how to say. It lacked something. And just adding those 3 circles in the middle of these 9 patches, get your hands out the way, just really made it pop. So, you know, that was quite a simple and effective way of doing that. I should put that away because it's huge. I'll fold it up. You can see the back. I like the backs of things. I often don't cover them up when I'm doing wall hangings, and I just leave them like that. Anyway, this is a video on how to digress. Okay, so you can couch all kinds of things on. I've got this same little piece that I've been using up till now. You can couch on, this is the cotton tapestry cotton, quite thick stuff. Doesn't have to be thick, it's just a way of using thick threads or thick fibres that are too thick to actually stitch with. It's just a way of getting them into your work. This is a bit of something, not sure what, but it's a lovely colour. Isn't that a beautiful colour? So those are thready type things. This is some knobbly stuff. Do you see it's all knobbly? So that would be fun to couch on, because it's too knobbly to stitch with. Don't even know where that came from. Don't even know how that found its way here. That's a bit of leftover yarn. It's a nice blue. This is a bit of sari silk ribbon. And you could just couch that on flat if you wanted to, but what I like to do is twist things like that. So you twist it, you know how to twist things. I don't need to show you how to twist things, and it's not even in the frame. There we go. So you can twist, you see, and if you twist sari silk ribbon you get all these lovely fringiness. So then if you imagine that was laid onto there, well, it's probably not the best colour for the background. and straight away I'd make a circle and just stitch that down. You could do that, and you can also use teeny tiny narrow strips of actual cloth, and again you could lay that on flat, and rather than stitching through it to stitch it down, you could do big stitches over it, or you could twist it like so. And now you probably can't see it because it's nearly the same colour as the background. And you don't have to make circles. You don't have to make circles. You could do a straight line, you could do a wiggly line, you know, you could do all kinds of things. But I like to make circles. And you get the idea, you know, there's some other little bits. If you do teeny tiny bits, they can be quite fun. You could almost make little sort of pebbly type shapes. So you put that on there like that, and just stitch that down over it, not through it. If you stitch through it, then it's applique of some kind. Couching is stitching over it, not into it. And you can even, if you've been cloth twining, and why wouldn't you have been, actually couch some cloth twine on if you want something really structural and dimensional. So what am I going to couch on to show you how to do it? Shout, tell me, tell me. I want to do that lovely colour stuff there. That lovely pinky. So what if you want an exact circle, you can get a jam jar lid or something round and draw around it, hoping this will show up. Oh, the cat's coming in now. It's one of those days. It's one of those days. And the animals like to make their presence felt. Yes, oh, I can easily see that. In fact, I can probably see that a bit too much. I hope it covers it up. So then I don't sort of try and pin it or anything in place. I've got my standard 2 strands of embroidery floss. You can obviously match the colour if you don't want a contrast, but I wanted you to be able to see, so that's why I've gone with this. And then I don't start completely at the end, and I in general go anti-clockwise with the thing, because I'm right-handed, so I stitch that way. I don't start right at the end, I start a little bit in from the end, so I'm just going to come through from the back and lay a bit of yarny stuff on the line. And it's a bit fiddly at first, but once you get it trapped down. And then I'm just going straight over and in, and then I take a tiny stitch in the direction of travel. Do you see that? Staying the same side. And there we go, now he's trapped. And then you just work your way around like that, jumping over from side to side, taking a tiny stitch each side. And of course at the beginning your end keeps getting caught, but that's just the way of it. And laying it over your drawn line. Oh, that's naughty. A bit of floss is a bit long as well. The cat's now getting into my scrap basket and having a dig. And it's a lovely rhythm to do as well. I don't know what it is about it, because basically you're doing just a running stitch movement, but you're doing it along 2 parallel lines. And you can make your spacing small or bigger, or you can bother about your spacing and get it even, or you can not bother and just, you know, see what happens. Fred. I'm so sorry. I'll persevere. I don't think you mind. I hope you don't mind, animals. I can't actually keep them out of here because there's no door on this room, it's just a curtain. So there's no way of keeping them out. They get really bad, I'll stop and have a strict word with them off camera. Not that they'll pay any attention to me whatsoever. So you just go all the way around your circle until you get to the other end. So you can see that because you've got the thing that you're couching down and the thread you're sewing with, you've got 2 different elements that you can play with, compare and contrast kind of thing. You can match, like I said, so the thing you're I'm sorry, pausing, coming back in a sec. I'm back. I had a strict word. Hopefully they'll stop. What was I saying? Yes. So if you want the thread, the thing that you're couching on, to really be the star of the show, then you'd use a toning thread so that your stitches didn't show. Or you can really play with the contrast. You see as well that I haven't trimmed it yet. If it was a huge, great big long piece, I might trim it. But rather than trying to guess how much I need, I'll just leave it dangling like that until I get to the end. So I just kind of roll it into place with my thumb and stitch along. Stitching along. I wanted to do the whole thing because I want to show you the end part. There's basically two options when you come round to the end. You can either make a feature of your little tails and just leave a little bit dangling, or, whoops, stay in shot, Catherine. Or you can kind of try and butt them up. And I don't know which I'm going to do. Which shall I do? I think I'll butt them up, because leaving a little tail is pretty obvious what you do. Butting them up is slightly more tricky, but doable. You're never going to completely see that there's no end there. I don't think there's a way of doing that. Unless you had something, I don't know, somehow that was an actual loop of something to start with. I don't know. Could you have something that was a loop? I guess you could do a cloth twine loop. There's a challenge. Anyway, we're nearly there. You just roll it into place with your left thumb if you're right-handed, and stitch with your right. And here I'm coming towards the end, and then I will stop. Maybe I'll do one or two more, because often the ends of things are a bit fluffy as well, so I might trim that back first. Let's call that enough. We'll lay it down and hope that it's still close enough. I think I'm going to trim off a tiny bit of that fluffiness, just so I've got a straightish end there. And then I'm going to lay that where it will go. Get my scissors right in there, and hopefully not my head. A bit far away. And cut that. And hope they meet. They meet. Do you see? They meet. So now what you want to end up doing is getting one of your stitches to be right on the end of that one, and one of your stitches to be right on the end of that one. So I'll just roughly eye how many I can get. I think I'm going to do one more stitch there. And obviously you can't do it right on the very, very end because it won't hold. So I'm about 1/16 of an inch, one of those newfangled millimetre type things, away from the end. And then jump across to the end of the next where you started from. Kind of fiddle about with it, and I've cut it slightly too short, you see, because I was too far away. It's not too bad. And then I go over with my stitch and pull it nearly all the way through, and then I kind of push the stitch away. Do you see that? Just to make sure that it catches that end. There we go. And then if you kind of give it a squidge with your thumb. That's not too bad at all, is it? My circle's a bit wonky, but, you know, it'll pass mustard. And I know one should say it'll pass muster, but I've always said mustard. And finish that off. So that's basically how you couch. I might just quickly, well, no, you know, slow stitchly, a little pebbly thing. I haven't done one of those for a long time. Is that going to be long enough? You obviously don't have to use 2 strands of embroidery floss. You could use any kind of hand sewing thread. And in fact, that gives you another opportunity to play with the contrast between that and the fibre you're couching on. So to do a pebbly type thing, just a random loopy sort of shape, you can get it as twisted as you like at that end. I start somewhere along the middle of the piece, so I'm just going to come up somewhere, hopefully not into my thumb, like that, and then kind of play with that until it's as twisted as you want it to be and go back in. Again, the colour contrast isn't exactly pleasing me, but hopefully you can see and get the idea. And then just lay it down where you want it. It's the same thing, you stay on the side you went down as the side you come up. And jump over, come up again on the same side, and then jump back. And come up again. And I think I'm going to twist that a bit more. I'm really not liking this bright green on here, but anyway. It's offending me. It's offending my eye. And then if you want the ends to be more curly, more, curved, this is much more organic-y. But it's a good way of using up those teeny, teeny little scraps of cloth that are too small to stitch with, if there is such a thing. Because when you're doing collage, you can use really small pieces. But, it's just a different thing. And back to the beginning. And apart from the green, which doesn't really go, you get the idea. And you could even then, if you wanted to, and I probably would if this was an actual thing, go around again in between once you've anchored it all down. You could go around with a different colour. You could go do several colours around the same thing. You could do your stitches really close together all the way around and just use the little piece of cloth almost as a core. That would be cool. Have I ever done that? I must do that. I don't think I've ever done that. So almost like as close together as a satin stitch, which is when your stitches lie. I haven't got enough thread to do the whole thing, plus it'll take me a long time. But I'll do it there just so you get the idea. So you don't even see the cloth underneath, really. Do you see? Do you get the idea? So it just acts as a core to give you a raised surface. That would be cool. But as long as you're not stitching through the thing that you've laid on the cloth, but over it, then it's called couching. Is that okay? Is that clear? Does that give you ideas? I hope so. So that's couching. I hope that was mildly interesting. And I hope the cat and dog didn't annoy you too much. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you next time for more cloth tales. Thank you. Bye-bye.